So let's talk about what we know about the Ma'Khia Bryant case so far. On Tuesday, the Columbus Dispatch received multiple calls, one being from a female who was speaking about an altercation between some females and maybe a possible knife. I'll play that now.
911, where is your emergency?
Hello? It's 3171 Legion Lane.
Is there an apartment number or letter? What's going on?
Come up here. This, the
Ma'am, you need
address
to talk to me.
is 3171. We got these grown girls over here trying to fight us, trying to stab us, trying to put our hands on our grandma. Get here now.
Have you seen any weapons? Ma'am, do you see any weapons?
We need a police officer here now.
Do you see any weapons?
Police officer now.
Ma'am, do you see any weapons?
On the dog trying to hear us. No!
911, what's the address of your emergency?
It's on Legion Lane.
What's the emergency there?
Oh, well, never mind. The police are already out here. Never mind. Thank you.
As you can hear in the first phone call, it does appear to be the voice of a young girl. Now, a lot of people are stuck on the fact that she was the one who called the police. But the simple fact is that point becomes irrelevant.
Hey! What's going on? Hey, what's going on? Hey! 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 Get down! Get down! Get down! Get down!
So you can see by the second film why I say that the phone call is irrelevant, because if that was Ma'Khia Bryant who called the police, then that means she either lied or was trying to mislead the police, because it turns out it wasn't the two females who were the aggressors. It happened to be her who was the aggressor. So as you can see by the film, that was Ma'Khia Bryant in the background. That was her grandmother in front of her, Angela Moore, foster mother. Then in front of her, the first girl that she attacks name was, or is, excuse me, Shy Lana Craig Watkins, who's 20 years old, and Tiana Bonner, the woman in pink, who's 22, who are also foster children of Angela Moore. The reason why they all were there in the first place was to party or have a birthday party for Angela Moore. Now, the altercation started because the two women said, you know, Mom doesn't like the house dirty. You got to make these beds and clean up. And that's where it just started. Now, it turns out from witnesses and everything else, they've had altercations and words before. This wasn't anything new. It just happened to be this time they kicked it up a level. So when the police officer arrived that day, he didn't know who was who in the first place. As a matter of fact, as he stepped out of the car is when Ma'Khia started her attack on Watkins. She went to swing the knife at Watkins and she missed. Watkins fell to the ground and the police officer recognized the knife in her hand as she wheeled around and focused her attention on Bonner. As she went toward Bonner, literally, it was 2 seconds to react. 2 seconds. That's all the police officer had. So he draws his gun, says, get down, get down, get down. And he was forced to stop the imminent threat. Now, this is where everybody starts to get upset. They're like, why couldn't he just tase her? So, from the time the police officer recognized the knife in her hand to the time she was on top of Bonner, 2 seconds. 2 seconds elapsed. She went from trying to stab Watkins on the ground to focusing her attention on Bonner. 2 seconds to get on top of her, push her up against the car, and ready the knife to go plunge into her neck, face, whatever. The police officer had literally 2 seconds to pull out his gun, yell, "Get down," and fire to stop the immediate imminent threat. Now, constitutionally, police officers usually only use deadly force when it comes to protecting their own lives or the lives of innocent people. Now, the second way is to stop a criminal from escaping who is deemed dangerous to the public. So, in other words, if he had deployed his taser and his taser had failed, he now put the other girl, Bonner's, life in danger from Bryant. That's not how it works. He has to stop the imminent threat to someone else's life immediately. A taser is not as effective as Hollywood and politicians would make you believe. I'll put that up now. Another question was, why couldn't he aim for the leg? Hollywood has really messed a lot of people up because now you believe that cops are superheroes. First of all, that is a moving target. It's a smaller area. Police officers are trained center mass. That's the largest target and that has your stopping power. Okay? So, in other words, if he aimed for her leg and missed, that bullet could ricochet and put somebody else in danger. Can't do that. You have to aim to stop the imminent threat. Now, that doesn't mean that they're shooting people to kill people. They are stopping people, like stopping the imminent threat. And that's what Ma'Khia Bryant became, the imminent threat. Someone had sent me a video of a white kid who had stabbed the cop, ran away from the cop while wielding his knife. Now, the police officer pulled his gun out on this kid at first. Then, as the kid was running away, he pulled out his taser and deployed his taser instead because the child was not running toward a crowd, wasn't running toward anyone, was running away from the police officer. So he could actually try that method. And it worked successfully. He was able to detain the kid without actually having to shoot him. Now, had that child been running into a crowd of people or bystanders, he was probably going to get shot. That's the truth of the matter. So let's put it all together now. What have we learned? Simply, when the police officers were called, they came, they showed up at the residence. Ma'Khia Bryant became the aggressor. No stand your ground, no none of that. She was the aggressor. The two women were invited to that house. So that doesn't work. She became aggressive. She went after these women with the knife, missed the first woman, went to attack the second woman. The police officer had seconds to stop the imminent threat, which was Ma'Khia Bryant. He did so. He didn't shoot her to kill her. He shot her to stop her. As a matter of fact, he even tried to help with the CPR and first aid. So, this is why I tell people they have to wait for the full story. You have to wait until the details of things come out. Otherwise, when you speak on things that you have not all the details to just yet, and you form an opinion on what's going on, your opinion can be skewed. Like I said, you need the details of the whole story, not just half the story or not the story that the media wants to portray. This is one of those unfortunate things where the police officer did his job, but doing so cost a 16-year-old girl her life. There's no other way around that. There's just no other way around it. He didn't shoot her to kill her. He shot her to stop her from killing another person. See, the Bible tells us to refrain from anger and forsake wrath. Fret not yourself, it tends only to evil. We need to put the word in our hearts so we can avoid doing evil things, doing malicious things. If we would just seek first his face, just find the Lord and put the Lord back as heads of our lives, this world and this country would be a better place. So I'll keep praying for everybody, and we'll see you next time.